sitting in this exact same stand. I said, Lord, if you let me kill a good buck today, because I'd never killed nothing over a 4 pointer. I said, if you let me kill a good buck today, I won't hunt the rest of the season. And this was December 15th, so we had maybe 2 weeks left, and I knew I'd be traveling, going to see the in-laws and stuff anyway. So I
Yep.
just, made that bargain with him. And I'm not saying it was an audible voice or it was a voice that could be heard by anybody but me, but it said, get down and check your camera and then walk to the back of the property. This was about 8:45. So I went and checked
Uh-huh.
my camera, didn't have anything on it hardly. So then I just leisurely walked. It's about a half mile back in there. So I walked, and then across the gully from me, I heard some leaves crunch. And I was like, it's probably a squirrel. Because I'd heard squirrels, seen probably 30 squirrels that morning.
Yeah.
And so I took another step on out into the road, and he'd come up on the other side of the hill and just stood back and looked at me. I didn't even have anything to rest on or anything. I moved like a half step to the left to clear some twigs and just threw my rifle up and shot him square in the lungs at 100 yards away. So he
Wow.
dropped. He dropped like that, and I said, "Well, thank you, Lord. I guess I'm not hunting anymore."
Let's talk about this hunt then that you got going on here. First, I think it's worth an introduction from yourself because you're new to the BBO team and can go ahead and introduce, and then we can get into the hunt.
Well, my name's Nate Greene. I'm from Western North Carolina, probably about 15 or 20 miles away from where Ryan lives. Been hunting pretty much my whole life off and on. Usually, I mean, just now getting into it more in the past maybe 7 or 8 years, just because when I was growing up, my dad didn't hunt much, and I've actually got him back into it since I've started. So uh, that's been a pretty cool thing for us over the past few years to be able to get out together and enjoy the outdoors. And he's already killed bigger bucks than I have, and uh, more. I wouldn't say more deer, but bigger, better quality deer than I have, which is fine. I'd rather see him kill them than me. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I enjoy being outdoors. I'm a minister, and I work full time as a security guard at a Facebook facility here in town,
Interesting.
and I just enjoy being being able to spread His word through outdoor lifestyles, hunting, fishing, anything I can that brings Him glory.
Right. I know that's one thing when I joined BBO. I mean, couldn't really think of anything better to use the outdoors to spread the gospel, spread His word, and so it was like kind of a no-brainer to try and get on the team here. So
Right.
it's fun stuff. So cool. Um, so then you're a minister then. What is kind of like part time or just do?
Part time. My dad's actually the pastor of our church, and
Got it.
I'm I guess you would say an evangelist. I help out there at the church, so I'm one of the associates there at church, and then
Cool.
I travel a little bit and preach at other sister churches.
Sure. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I know we're pretty happy to have you on the team, especially
Happy to
because
be
you're
here.
you're uh, you're supplying us with some hunts there. That let's talk about your Thanksgiving.
Well, man, it was definitely one to remember. Most people say the ones to remember are the ones where you shoot the big bucks and everything like that. It's most around here. That's like a uh, Thanksgiving tradition or a Thanksgiving deal that we go out and hunt. I think everybody in North America or wherever does it. Just anybody who celebrates Thanksgiving and hunts, they're always out there on Thanksgiving Day. But we always try to, between us, not really an announced competition, but most of the time just as family members and stuff, we always try to see who kills the biggest buck on Thanksgiving Day. But it was definitely memorable to me, just because it was the first one I ever got on film, and just being able to to do that, to capture that, to remember it, made it even better, even though it was just a big doe, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know. Especially for me too. I mean, I've been filming too, and it's always fun to go back, and even if you don't actually even shoot anything, just to see those animals that you capture on film, or
Right,
just you see what you did. I know I enjoy just going back and seeing what I did last year, and it's like, oh wait, now I can go out and try that again this year, and if that worked, or try things differently too. So
right.
now you got the bug, because from here it's just it's crazy. You'll bring that camera everywhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Stays in my
so
truck now.
yeah, right. Where are you hunting?
I'm hunting in Rutherford County.
Okay.
It's just a little small. It's not a small county, but the area I'm hunting in is pretty small. It's in a in the town of Rutherfordton, just right outside of the town of Rutherfordton.
Mm,
Uh, there's only 88, I think 80 acres altogether, but I've only hunted this front part, and there's probably only, I would say, 8 or 9 acres that I actually hunt. I have my cousin and my dad have stands in the back, but
okay.
I've hunted this same stand for the past 4 years now, and it's where it's not where I killed my biggest buck, but I killed my biggest buck on this property. But it's been produced pretty well for the past few years, especially for me.
Mm-hmm. This is private land then. Oh,
Yes, sir.
that
Yes,
way
sir.
you lease
Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
'Cause, so I'm in the Raleigh, North Carolina. So I think that's got to be about 2 hours towards the mountains from, maybe 3 hours towards the mountains from me.
Yeah, it's 2.5, 3 hours. Depends on traffic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, so I'm actually, you can probably see this right here too. Like I'm kind of going through the video footage that you sent me, and
Right.
was looks like to be a afternoon sit that you were out there.
Yep. Yep. Looks like about 4:45 when this first one come in.
Right. So yeah, that was Thanksgiving. So it's getting close to dark.
Mhm.
I know you had sent me too some footage of some spike bucks too that came into this area, and uh,
Yeah.
we'll get into it. Like you start getting piled in with some deer here.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely exciting. I think that's the most deer I've ever had in on me while I was hunting. At one time, I checked my camera that morning when I got out of the woods for the first time since the week before, and I had 590 something pictures, I believe, and the majority of it was these deer here, these two button heads, and the doe that comes out right here,
Yep.
and then the other three that'll come out shortly. They've just been eating me dry, my corn and everything, and haven't really been seeing much on the bucks. Just a bunch of small stuff, but definitely have some good does and some good up and comers for next year, for the
Yeah.
next couple years.
Well,
And
it's
as you
it's
go ahead,
surprising. Yeah, it's surprising that you didn't have any bucks, follow all these doe in, because
right?
especially this time of year.
Yeah, I was very shocked, that I didn't. As you can tell now that she is watching me very carefully, so I had to be careful what I did. And this whole video, from the time she steps out to the time that I shoot her, you can see that she's watching me.
Yeah.
But about, I think the two bucks will go on the two button heads will go on the other side of her, and then they'll all look back to the left of the clearing there, and then that's when I'm trying to jump ahead of you there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll scrub through this, because you mean you got some time, and she's just pinned on you.
Yeah, she was definitely aware that I was there,
Yeah.
and that was one reason I made the decision to take her out, because I didn't want, because even after I shot her, I still had a good 20 minutes of daylight left, and I didn't want her giving me away,
Right.
because she definitely had me pegged.
She knows her area pretty well here.
Oh yeah, for sure. But as we go on here, and you're getting to that point when the one comes back in, and then they all look to the left. Uh, they were just pegged on the left. Finally, she gave me some room to move,
Right.
and I was getting ready just in case, because when I seen them all three look across there, I heard something back behind me to the left, and I heard some running, and then I seen look through the woods, and seen three more tails coming through, and I thought, I thought they were being pushed by a buck, so I
Mm-hmm.
waited maybe 5 minutes or so for them to come out of the woods, and never did never did see any sign of a buck or anything like that after that. So then when I think here's when they
Yep,
start
that's what
looking. Yeah.
start looking over.
They start looking, and then all of a sudden I hear just a wave of leaves crashing, and those three does, one bigger and two smaller ones, come in, and I just kind of waited it out and seen if there was anything pushing them,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, the time of the year it is and everything, and I hadn't really seen that much rut activity on camera. I've seen a few little scrubs pushing some does, but nothing nothing worth shooting. And then when they finally come out, I waited another few minutes while they played around and things, and just make sure that nothing was coming out. And then when she uh, decided to make me,
A good shot. A good shot. So that was the other thing that I mean, you've hunted around here. I'm from the Midwest, so most of our rut activity is during that first, well, leading into November. So it's like October 30th is kind of really the big start of it, in the first couple weeks of November through November. Is is that what you see is around in your area then too?
I would say, yeah, for the most part, leading into our gun season. Um, the maybe gun season may be a little late, but yeah, just around the first couple weeks in November
Okay.
uh, is what I've seen. I mean, I've never actually myself witnessed sitting in the stand, witnessed any chasing or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I have seen I've seen it in other places around the same time. Which, I mean, it's all varies from state to state, but it seems to be that like here and maybe South Carolina, Georgia, they're all, in my opinion, they're kind of the same, because I've hunted all three of those states,
Mm-hmm.
and have seen that same. I actually missed the buck of my lifetime in Georgia. The first trip I ever went down there, I got trigger happy and shot the doe right at daylight. I shot the doe, and then like 2 seconds later, here comes this big, massive 10 pointer, and I couldn't get another shell racked in my gun fast enough. But
Yeah, yeah. I I've been hunting all season, and last year was my first year, and it seemed like right around, the second week in November when you see the most chasing, and this year
right,
seemed to be the about that time as well, and it seems like it goes a little longer too, but oh, here we see a good shot. So you had a whole bunch of deer in there.
yes, sir. I think there was six.
Yeah.
And then actually, after I shot her and drug her to the truck, was waiting on some help to come help me load her because I was tired. And I had a bigger doe than those two that were in there come through. Right, it was right at dark, so I couldn't see enough to shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
But I had her come in, and then about 2 minutes behind her there was a buck, and I think it was just a spike or something, because I couldn't tell with my flashlight what it was. But they were 10 yards from me. He was
Mm-hmm.
chasing her. He had his nose to the ground, chasing her.
Well, yeah, that's where it is. So how far did she run after you
She
shot her?
ran. You can see right behind where the our faces are right now. There's a little opening in
Yeah.
woods there. She's not 10 yards from where I shot her.
Wow. Oh, cool. Man, you can't ask for a better Thanksgiving, that's for
Oh
sure.
no, fresh venison in the freezer.
Yep.
Yeah. Made me
Well,
late for Thanksgiving dinner, but it was worth it.
We're just some good old boys trying to get by with our rifles, bows, and shotguns and four-wheel drives. On the ground, blind and tree stand is where we stay. God-fearing and lovers of the NRA.